Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All righty, welcome into a Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We are jacked up with game previews, lots of iced coffee, Lord knows what else. We got lots of great sound from the Buccaneers yesterday. I was over at One Buck Place chatting with some of the lads, so we've got that for you. We got lots of college football to talk about. USF has a huge game with Miami coming up on Saturday night in what should be a jam-packed Raymond James Stadium. Joey Johnson and their sideline reporter is going to join us at 10:15 to talk about that. Scott Jeeves is going to join us to talk about the FSU lawsuit. A couple of big stories came out this week about that, so we'll try to clear that up for you. Chris Lugo will join us as well. If you have any medical questions, any testosterone, weight loss, any of that stuff, put them in the comments. We'll get them to the doc and we'll answer them at 11:45. So that's a show. And, of course, we have Nick Geddes News, and Nicky Tells Mickey Numbers is back. Says he's got some great numbers for this week's game. What's up, partner? How are you?
Doing great. We are almost to the weekend, which is awesome. And we're already in week 3 of the NFL season, which is just
football
hard.
Tonight.
It's hard to believe. And we have football tonight. It just feels like it comes out of nowhere. We got the Jets and the Patriots tonight, right?
Yes, the AFC East clash.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, well, whatever Aaron Rodgers' yardage number is, go under. I like that one already. You know, he hasn't gone over 300 yards in like 3 years, just in a game. How crazy is that? Well, who cares? Who cares about Aaron Rodgers? But anyway, we care for betting purposes alone. All right, so we got lots to get to. Big show. We're gonna start it off with something that Nicky, you know, I've always kind of been on this deal. It's my own personal crusade.
Oh, I know.
Right? And it's kind of come to a head. Baker versus Brady. Now, listen, before we go any further, Brady is the greatest of all time. There is no doubt. There is no debate. There is not even really a debate on leadership style because it works. A lot of people didn't like Patton, you know, but that leadership style worked when it needed to work. And you can criticize a lot about it, but it worked. One of the greatest generals in the history of battle. And for Brady, you could probably nitpick a lot of his leadership strategies. But the bottom line is it worked. And however you do it, it depends. You know, obviously, it can't be completely Machiavellian. I mean, but what Brady did was it's never. I don't think it'll ever be repeated. And I don't think Mahomes is getting to 7. You know, I just don't think it will be. That dynasty, I don't think will ever be repeated. And clearly it was a lot more him than it was Belichick. But this Brady versus Baker thing, I think, is interesting. And it's not to say that Baker's leadership style is better. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is for this particular team, it really freaking works. And I think we need to give Baker Mayfield a lot more credit for coming in and following a legend and basically just saying, I'm not scared. I'm not afraid to follow Tom Brady. In fact, I'm just going to be Baker Mayfield. I'm not going to try to be somebody I'm not. He said that from the very first day he came in. And I was there at that very first press conference. And I, like many others in the media, were a little skeptical about who is this cat. But he quickly won me over, quickly won his teammates over, quickly won the media over, and has now won the city over. And his numbers are incontrovertible at this point. His quarterback rating in the last 9 games is best in the NFL, if you go back to last year. I believe he's number 2 behind Carr, who's played significantly less defensive presence than he has, obviously, Baker, with going up to Detroit. And those numbers weren't great from a passing standpoint, but let's don't get it twisted. He won that game along with the defensive effort. But so this came up yesterday. I guess Baker was on a podcast, and I believe the name of the podcast. Do you have it there, partner?
I do not know.
I'm reading from the Stroud article. Anyway, I'll find it. Rick Stroud had a great article on this today, by the way, in the Tampa Bay Times. He said this yesterday. For me, it was just the same answer I gave you guys when I got here. I'm not going to try and put Tom's shoes on. That's not how I do things. Obviously, Tom did it his way and was unbelievably successful with it. A lot of that just being my authentic self, being the best version of me. This place allowed me to do that. But anytime you're having more success than they did in 2022, you're going to have more fun. And listen, it's Casa de Club podcast.
Casa de Club, yeah.
Casa de Club podcast is where he got this. And, Baker talked a little bit about, stories that he's heard. This is not Baker trying to diss Tom Brady, just talking about things are a little bit different, that guys were just kind of stressed out by the whole Brady thing. I mean, and it's kind of like that way. That's the way he ran it. He led through fear in a lot of ways. Like, he'll embarrass you. He'll call you out. He'll yell at you. That was part of his. And I'm not saying that's a bad leadership way. I think in football, you got to be that way. I think fear is a great motivator. It works for a lot of great coaches. It's part of how you lead. And I get that. But there were stories of him dirting balls if he didn't like the play calls, and they called him in the week. He'd throw the ball out of bounds if he didn't like the play calls. That was Tom Brady. And, and as Wirfs said, it's not to diss Brady at all, but Tristan Wirfs said we couldn't hang out with Tom. We didn't go to dinner with him. It's no knock on him. It's just that Tom is a celebrity and a superstar. Just being able to hang out with Baker outside the facility and do things together, for us, it was something we didn't have before. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is fun. And I think the players have definitely, without question, responded to his leadership in this way. I think this is Mayfield yesterday said, this is what I wanted. This is the group that I wanted. Taking a chance to come here, understanding the pieces that I had and the potential that this group could have. For me, there were a lot of low moments last year, so it could have even been better. It's never about the individual stats anyway. It's just about trying to find ways to win. It's been awesome so far. And here's I got some good sound here too. Here's a little clip from Zion McCollum yesterday. We talked to him. I want to make sure I get this one. I think this is the right one. So this is Zion when asked about Baker's leadership.
A great offensive team, 1% in the red zone.
My bad.
He's a guy who has an energy. He always a really good leader, but he plays with a certain swag that just spills off onto everybody else. I mean, when I see him and he pops out a run, it makes me want to go out there and just fly through a brick wall. So having him as our quarterback and our leader, we have the right person sailing the ship.
He had mentioned too that Tom was always businesslike, and that maybe the guys were stressed out playing in that environment with him. Just there's such a demand to win all the time. But he came in and kind of loosened up the team with just his personality. Did you sense that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Baker is a guy who makes me feel like I'm back in college. You know what I mean? He's just one of the guys, and he's so relatable, and he talks to everybody: defense, offense, specialists. He's just a guy. Like, he's a friend. He's somebody that you can turn to. So in the fourth quarter, and things are tough, and we got situations, he's a guy I can look to just kind of center, control everything, and make everything seem a little bit easier than it actually is.
The Zion McCollum right there. I think he said a lot there. I mean, and we talked about this the other day. When you have a quarterback that you believe in the fourth quarter, that can get the job done, I just think that elevates your play the entire game. If you keep it within one score, you got a shot. And I think it just keeps everybody motivated. And the way he plays keeps people motivated. And you could just see that permeate throughout this team. I think it was last week where we were in the locker room, and Good Morning Football was on one of the TVs. And the segment was, paraphrasing here, is Baker Mayfield the coolest guy in the room? Like, is he the cool? Like, did we ever think that would be a headline discussion on Good Morning Football? Of all the players in the NFL, Baker effing Mayfield has now stolen the hearts of the nation as the coolest guy in football. I don't know. I don't think I saw that coming. You?
He had quite the glow up. He had quite the glow up for sure. I will say, I said this the other or on Monday's show, I think. Like when you watch him, especially in these first two games where he's had to like use his feet to make plays, and you see the effort that he's putting in, it's like his grit, his toughness, all those sort of traits that you want in your quarterback. It does feel like it has sort of trickled on down to everybody. And he's the tone setter for that physical. And how am I saying that? That the quarterback, in a way, feels like he's the tone setter for the physicality that I see from the rest of the football team. Like, I don't think you see that often. And what do they say all the time? Whenever you have a great that ends up retiring or moving on or whatever, they always say that you don't want to follow the great. You want to be the one that follows who follows the great.
Right.
And Baker Mayfield came in, and I don't know if it was the plan for him to necessarily, be the long-term solution, but he turned himself into that guy. At least for the moment, we think he's that guy. And it just feels like everything that happened in 2022 that you sort of encapsulated. And I think this team was like, what was the quote? They were sort of worn out or stressed out. That was a stressful season for everybody.
It really was.
Because, you take into the fact Tom's personal life, you take into effect his on-field play, you take into the fact that they had the worst offensive coordinator in football, arguably. They are constantly in the news being scrutinized and criticized. It was madness that season. Yeah. It was madness. And they needed someone to come in and loosen the tension a little bit. Still locked in, still have that, we want to go win, obviously. But I think they needed somebody. Yeah, but they still needed somebody to come in and lighten the room up a little bit. And especially for a guy like Tristan Wirfs, who had only played with Tom Brady for those 3 years, obviously this was new to him.
Yeah.
And those two guys hit it off right away. I said that was the biggest thing that I think endeared him to me personally, was when I saw it seemed like the first guy he reached out to when he got here was Tristan Wirfs. Yeah. And was developing that relationship. And now, they're raising kids together. So it's just awesome to see how far they've come in just 2 years from how maddening it was to watch this team play and everything that was going inside the locker room to where they are now.
And I would, it sounds obvious, but if the quarterback is not the leader of your team and they don't, you have a team that's not all in, you can't do anything, even if your quarterback is named Tom Brady. And that was the situation in 2022. No one was sure where he was at. Obviously, the training camp absence put a pall over the entire season. It was just weird. There was, the whole vibe had gone away because the players knew that Brady tried to get out of there, that Brady abandoned them, that he tried to get to the Miami Dolphins. They knew that. And how do you play a season like that where your leader was like, yeah, I'm going to the other side. Oh, wait, I'm back. It don't work that way. Here's Todd Bowles talking about Baker and how he's taken over the leadership of his team.
The biggest thing he did was not try to beat Tom. And the biggest thing we did is not want him to beat Tom. And the schemes have changed since Tom was here. The players have changed since Tom was here. Baker's his own guy. I keep saying nobody's ever going to beat Tom. You put his shoes on the shelf and you buy a new pair and you break them in. And Baker's come in and he's picked up the system well. The guys have gravitated around him. He has a place he calls home. We trust him. He trusts us, and he's fitting very well here.
Yeah, that's just further endorsement of how they found the perfect guy. And you go back to the whole quarterback search and Jason Light and the whole situation. We were all talking about David Carr, right? That would be the magic elixir. And it looks like he may have found something with the Saints here in year 2. Right. But I'll take Baker any day of the week. Any day of the week, he's a perfect fit here. And it's going to be interesting when those two meet. That's for damn sure. So, love it. Love Baker's leadership. I just love the contrast between the two.
All I know is this story from Rick Stroud and all these questions that were asked this week was right up your wheelhouse because you've been on this topic. You've had your secret little agenda since last year, and it all just came to a head yesterday with this article and all these questions that y'all were able to ask all the parties involved. But you did I will give you credit though for the things you were saying. It sort of was echoed by all these players and all the parties involved.
Yeah. So we like to lead the way when we can. It's just a vibe that you kind of picked up when you're there. And there was always this subtext, and I don't want to say it was an anti-Brady subtext. It was just, I like where we're going here. This feels more together. This feels more about Tampa Bay, more about the team than it is one guy. And, everybody loved playing with Brady. It was a once in a lifetime thing, but it has a shelf life. It definitely had a shelf life. And I think everybody in that building was glad to clutch that trophy and move on at this point. So anyway, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the biggest game in Tampa Bay this weekend. Oh,
my bad. I hit the wrong button there.
There we go. There's Joey Johnston, sideline reporter for your USF Bulls. With all deference to the Bucks Broncos game on Sunday, Joey, I'm going to have to say that this Miami USF game on Saturday night is the highlight of the weekend.
I definitely have to agree with you, JP. It's certainly USF's biggest game in a couple of decades, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun because Miami's got its own questions to answer and off to a great start. But as we know, we've seen that great start from Miami a lot, only to have it fizzle. Is this real? We'll certainly get more answers on Saturday night.
Yeah, crazy to think that the biggest test that Miami's going to have so far is at USF, not at Florida. USF appears to be, with all deference to my UCF graduate here on my show, the second best team in the state of Florida. We can argue that. We'll see how that goes. But this game, and it's great to talk with you, Joey, because you've been covering sports in this market as long as I have, but probably longer. And you have perspective to share on this. And when you have an 8th-ranked team like Miami coming in, we remember 5th-ranked West Virginia, but that wasn't an in-state rival. This is Miami, who's going to be bringing their fans. I think it adds a lot more to it, right, in terms of the magnitude of this game.
Oh, yeah, just tremendous juice, the trash talk of the state. It's great. I mean, it's, Florida State, Miami, USF, UCF, and anytime they play each other, it just adds so much. There's all the kids that know each other on both sides. There'll be tons of recruits at the game. It's a fun thing. Now with, Florida State having their relative struggles early in the season, it's at least we get something like this to give us a little bit of a highlight. So we hope it's a good competitive game, and I believe it will be. So it's going to be a great showcase for not only USF, but for Miami, for people to get a good look at Cam Ward, who's off to a tremendous start. Looks like a great quarterback for them. And if they come out and make a resounding statement, maybe this is their year in the ACC. We just haven't seen it in such a long time. So I'm really curious to see not only how USF handles it, but how Miami handles it.
Totally agree. And, I was actually talking to a Canes fan yesterday and, on and on. Oh, this guy's going to the NFL. This guy blocks 3 people. This guy's the best defensive end and all of it. I'm like, listen, bro, they may be, they may be all that you're saying, but I ain't buying it until they give me a couple reasons to buy it. And so far, it's been a bunch of, with all deference to our Florida Gator fans, a bunch of cupcakes. And they've got, I think USF is going to be a much bigger test. And to that point, this defensive line, this pass rush, this aggressive defense that Todd Orlando has installed, do you think we got to see them play against the top-notch offense as well? So what do you think about that matchup?
Well, they're certainly much improved over last year. Todd Orlando definitely has a reputation of a guy that can scheme it up and hit you with a lot of crazy things, and they showed it at times last year, just not consistently. And this year they're off to a great start. Clearly, they have upgraded their talent, especially in the secondary.
Yes.
Where if you look back there, it's new guys all around, and they're all having really great starts to their season. We saw them put a lot of pressure on Alabama and Jalen Milroe, making his life miserable through the first 3 quarters. So if they can do that against Cam Ward, that will certainly give them a good chance to be successful in this game. And it's not just the defensive line, it's the linebackers, and it's the secondary that comes at you. They come at you with all kinds of crazy blitzes. And the one thing that Todd Orlando wants from his defense is fearlessness. He does not want them to play on their heels or be tentative. If you're going to make a mistake, you better make it full speed. That's the way they want to play. And it could burn them, but they want to get back there and create havoc and get in Cam Ward's face, and that's really something Cam Ward hadn't seen thus far. Every highlight I've seen on him, he's back there flat-footed, just looking around, and if you can put pressure on him, he was sacked 38 times last year at Washington State, and he also fumbled the ball 12 times. So that those stats indicate a guy that maybe you could get to and create some problems. So, but thing is, nobody's gotten to him yet, so USF has a chance to do that.
I agree with you. That, to me, that is the biggest part of this game. And Cam, and I kept telling people that as well. He'll throw interceptions as well. He will, and you go back to the Florida game when he did get some pressure, he made a couple of really bad decisions. They just didn't capitalize on him. And I think that's really the key. Pressure him, and then when he throws it to you, and he will, there'll be 2 or 3 times this game that the Bulls will have an opportunity to get a pick. They got to come down with them because I think they got to get at least 3 turnovers to win this game. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, for sure, and hopefully score on one of them or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
Flip the field big time or score on them. That's the one thing that can really be a huge difference in a game like this. They're still not getting the great quantity of interceptions. They've done a good job forcing fumbles, but they have 3 interceptions through 3 games, which is not great. But they certainly have some talent back there in the secondary. And as you say, if they can pressure Ward and come up with the ball and go the other way, that would change a lot of things.
Nikki, you want to jump in here?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you make of, and like in games like this when you're like the perceived inferior program and stuff like that, and obviously it's Group of 5 versus a big time P4 top 10 team. I think a lot of people are like, well, we want to keep it close, and I think a lot of people look at that. But I hear Alex Golesh, especially after the Alabama game, I think he used the whole like close games are for losers, and he was absolutely like bothered by the fact that they did not win that football game. I mean, how do you think that he sort of navigates through that, where it's like we're still trying to build something, but you know what? We've obviously these games were scheduled well in advance and everything, and we got to play them. And hey, we want to win these games. Doesn't matter if we're USF.
Yeah, I think his philosophy is definitely, win the game and not get style points and come close. He fights that with a fury. Actually, he does not like the insinuation of hey, valiant effort, great, what a tremendous try you guys had. You came so close. You look great doing it. No, he does not buy into any of that, and really will fight you pretty hard on it. His whole thing is he wants USF, regardless who they're playing, to believe that they belong on that field and they can win the game just like anybody. And he was very upset after that Alabama game. Very upset. The score got out of hand, but it was a close game throughout. But the insinuation that, hey, you went up to Bryant Denny and looked pretty good through most of the game. Now, he's not going to buy into that at all. That's not what he's about. And, they may not be successful, but they're going to go down doing it their way, and they're not going to concede to anybody. If you go down the valiant effort road with him, you're going to be shut down pretty quick.
Joey Johnson joining us here, Bull sideline reporter. Big game coming up Saturday night, number 8, Miami against USF. And, I harken back to that West Virginia game, and I still say to this day there were way more than 65,000 people in that stadium. They packed them in, and I think we could get close to that. And you mentioned recruiting as well. How huge is this because I think USF has battled this a lot. Their game atmosphere in a big stadium, no upper deck. You have a recruit there, and then they go to Tuscaloosa the next week because this is who they're recruiting against now, or Florida or Florida State. It's a totally different atmosphere. This week, they create the utmost college football atmosphere with a full stadium. It should be full anyway. How important is this? What do you expect in terms of game atmosphere? And clue us in on any of the extra things that USF's going to be doing for this game for the fans.
Yeah, first of all, I think it's going to be 60,000 or so fans total. But the interesting thing is there's going to be 15,000 students, which is the most they've ever had. So the students have really responded in a big way. And we've heard the excuses in past years, we can't drive to Ray J, blah, blah, blah. But no, they're coming out for this one. Mm-hmm. So that's going to make a huge difference. I think it's going to be it may not be to West Virginia levels of 2007, but I think it is going to be as good as we've seen in many, many years. A fever pitch. Certainly there will be some Miami fans throughout as well. So I don't think environment is going to be anything to be questioned at all. It's going to be top notch. And if it's a good game, it's going to be extremely memorable. I mean, that West Virginia game that you referenced from 2007, that may have been the craziest I've ever seen Ray J, including Bucks.
Yeah.
And there was something about that crowd that night that was just, they become unhinged. And, which you can get in college football, but man, that was one memorable night, and it just showed the difference a crowd can make. And I think this has the potential to be in that same neighborhood.
Yeah, I was on the field that night watching that game, and the roars were louder than Bucks games. Just quite frankly, they were explosive when they were making plays. It was a really, really cool night. Anything extra that USF's doing for the fans in terms of just fan stuff, centric stuff before the game, after, during the game? What's going on?
I don't know if it's extra, but it's they have their march in like most college teams do into the stadium. They have the beach area and the usual tailgating stuff. I think it's going to be just the game is the main thing.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be enough. And I'm very happy that it's a night game because I grew up here. I used to go to University of Tampa games, which were always at night. And the reason they were at night was they felt like Tampa people, the Florida State people, those were day games, and they could be fans of both. They could go to the Spartan games at night and go to the Gator Seminole games during the day. So Tampa has always been, in my mind, a night game city. So I love it when the big games are at night. Obviously it gives people a whole day to prepare. Prepare for a football game. And so I think the whole setup for it couldn't be more perfect. And if the game is competitive and exciting, it could be one we'll be talking about for a while.
And if they win it, they have a bunch of recruits there. It's a program changer, right?
Here's the thing too. It's you think about the game you're at one game at a time, blah, 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 all that stuff. But man, it's a gateway to some stuff. If they can beat Miami, they go to Tulane and they have Memphis. Those are probably the two biggest games in their conference. If they can get both of those, I mean, this sounds crazy and you can't, but hey, they have a chance to get in the playoff.
Hell yeah, they do.
They have a chance if they can win those three games. It goes from crazy dream to, hey, this actually could happen. So the time is now. I mean, you got to get Miami. That's the key to it, because you want to have the bargaining chip in non-conference, and then you beat Miami, and then you root like heck they win the ACC.
Yeah.
So man,
I think it's pretty. It looks good right now, but again, it's Miami. So
it's Miami. It's JP. One of the craziest things we see a lot of crazy things in sports, but I am truly, absolutely flummoxed that Miami has never won the ACC in football.
How about that? Because
when they got into the ACC, I expected Miami and Florida State to be in the title game every single year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's never happened. I'm blown away that Miami's never won the ACC. So, it's people like us, we know, the U and the Canes and the whole deal, but I was actually a long time ago.
A long time ago.
A long time ago. I mean, the younger people that I think they think, what's the deal about Miami? Why are you guys always talking about Miami? Because they've never seen the national championship Miami team. So yeah, they're well beyond due to win the ACC. And they certainly seem like they have the goods, and it's just a matter, can they do it? Can they do it this time?
Well, when it comes to the playoff, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're the conference champ, if USF wins the conference, it's going to be the highest rated G5 team in their playoff rankings, right? That gets the automatic spot, right?
Yeah.
So
it would be.
I think honestly, the way you played at Alabama, despite the score, and if you keep it close against Miami, and you don't win, I still think there's a pathway to the playoff. You win your conference, and you have those two things on your resume, and hopefully this committee's smart enough to look at the games and not the scores when it comes to Alabama. That's a one-score game in the 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Still should have gone for the touchdown, by the way.
Yeah.
But that matters, does it not?
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, it's what does Boise State do and people like that. But if as you just said, if you lay it out like that, if USF has a win against Miami or even a narrow defeat, they're going to go to the table with a chance for sure. So you cannot minimize that. Now, that being said, they've got to win these games. I mean,
absolutely.
And USF hasn't beaten a ranked team since 2016.
Wow.
And they haven't under Golish last year. None of the teams they beat ended up with a winning record. So you could look at it from that standpoint that they still have a great deal to prove here. They have to win,
of course,
a game of this caliber. So there's you can't just assume it's going to happen or anything like that.
No, we're not. But it's an opportunity. Just saying the USF has the opportunity is a big deal.
It's
a big deal.
Thing is, we've seen USF capable of doing some things. They've turned the program around. They've got a lot more talent on both sides of the ball. The question is, okay, here you go. It's a perfect setup. It's a night game on ESPN before Miami. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this moment? And that's what we're going to find out Saturday night.
Oh, so fun. And timing is everything, right? So, and I think you kind of alluded to this in the macro. Conference realignment is here. And USF has positioned themselves, I think, as good as they possibly can with the new stadium. And now winning football games really helps tremendously, because we've seen what this program could be. It was a top 25 perennial under Jim Leavitt for a good 5 to 7 years, right? I mean, we know what it can be. And now with all that on the cusp, and Florida State, it happened fast, but things are trending down, and that might be a longer fix than we actually thought. Florida is a mess. Yeah. I mean, if there was ever a time for USF to kind of seize the moment, this is it. Is it not?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And the thing is, it's such a moving target. We don't actually know what it's going to be, and we don't know what college football is going to look like in 5 years. I mean, it's anybody that thinks definitively they know, that they really don't, because none of us do. But I think Michael Kelly's strategy and everybody at USF is, whatever it's going to be, we're going to be ready the best we can. And certainly all the assets we have in Tampa Bay for all our teams, professional and college, is extremely attractive. I mean, we've got a lot to offer here, and if we can offer a winning football team as part of the equation, hey, that is very attractive for a conference. So you got to put yourself in position, and certainly winning games like Saturday night, that can only help. Yeah.
All right, Joey, this is going to be a fun. Oh, I have to ask you about this, because they did release the renderings yesterday of the new stadium. And I love this dedicated student fan shot where they're going to have a DJ booth, all kinds of cool stuff just for the students in that 8,000 section stadium. What are your thoughts on some of the pictures and renderings we saw?
I think it's cool. I mean, obviously they've gone around the country and looked closely and studied it, and they hope to have some, the state of the art kind of things, and maybe some things we haven't seen in stadiums before. I mean, stadiums are changing. I think they're pretty much getting smaller, and it has to be more of a luxury experience, if you will, to some in-house fans. So I think it's going to be as good as it can be. Obviously, just the fact of they could put up a barn on campus, and it would be a huge thing just to have a football game on campus,
like UCF did.
Well, right. I'm not going to go there. All respect to UCF and everything their on campus stadium did.
Yes,
that program.
Absolutely. Super smart.
Yeah, super smart. So, but it certainly looks beautiful. I think it's going to be, they've looked at a lot of stadiums, and they've looked at things that work and don't work. And it won't be for a lack of trying for them to make it as perfect as it can be. So, it's been so many years and so many false starts, and it's hard to believe that in a few weeks they're going to put shovels into the ground. But it looks like this thing's going to happen, JP.
Yeah, shovels in the ground before the Rays Stadium. How about that? How about that? All right, Joe. Hey, thanks so much for your time. Tell everybody how they can get your content on Twitter and USF and everything for this game.
Well, I write my stuff on gousfbulls.com, and my Twitter handle is at joeyjohnston813.
Thank you, Joey. Great stuff, my man. Great to see you. We'll see you Saturday night. It'll be fun. Man, this is going to be. I love, I love college football, and the atmosphere is going to be tremendous. Unlike the atmosphere in Tallahassee this week.
Oh man, I know which primetime game I'm watching.
Oh my
God.
It's
not going to be the one in Tallahassee, but
yeah, ditto. Yeah, I'll be at the USF game, so I am looking forward to that. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. I want to tie up a little bit of what we just talked about. Talk a little bit more about USF, FSU, and UF. Of course, we do a lot of college football. We might even get into a little UCF here, Nick, and maybe a little. Who you guys got this weekend?
No, you got to save us for next week. We're on a bye, but then we play Colorado. So you got to end in Florida, and then Florida the week after. So you got us for the next 2 weeks after this week.
Hell yeah. All right. UCF takes center stage after that. All right. Much more on the Bucs. Got some great stuff from the locker room yesterday I want to share with you guys. Might even talk a little bit of Rays since they wasted a great pitching effort last night by Ryan Pepiot. All that and more. We're brought to you by the great folks at Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves is going to join us at 11 o'clock to talk about the FSU lawsuit and his Gators as well. We'll talk about that. Anything you need in the legal realm, it is the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Go to their website. You can contact them through email or phone. Tell them you heard it on the JP show. They'll give you a free case evaluation. They'll help you out with whatever your legal questions are. That's JeevesLawGroup.com. They are local. They are trusted, and they get results. Jeeves Law Group. Back in 3. Stay with us. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at RogersParkGolf.net. That's RogersParkGolf.net. See you there.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're going to get into the old FSU in the ACC, remaining in the ACC concept. I don't see it happening, but people are talking about it. And again, we'll talk to Scott Cheese about that. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center as well, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo will join us at 11:45. So you have any questions for the doc for nutrition, testosterone replacement, your workouts, supplements, any of that stuff, put them in the comment section. We'll be happy to pass them along, and we'll answer them at 11:45. So, yeah, just kind of put a bow on what Joey was talking about here. I think, first of all, if you're a USF football fan, you're at Raymond James Saturday night. I mean, tickets are not that expensive. This is a historical type game, or it certainly could be for the program. How can you not be there? This has to be an absolute packed house. It has to be 60, 65,000. No reason not to. You know, if Florida State season's over, Florida season's over. I mean, if you live here in Tampa Bay and you're a college football fan, you got to be there. You got to be there.
They're going to be there. And I know there's going to be Miami fans there, but like, I don't know about you, but in my daily life, when I'm roaming around the Tampa Bay area, which is daily, I don't see much Miami presence really in Tampa. Like,
never has been. Miami is not at least anymore. I mean, when they were winning national championships through the 80s and 90s and early aughts,
I'm sure it was
they had a huge fan base. They're front runners. Now they're starting to come out of the woodwork again because they're number 8. But even those folks some of them can read newspapers and articles, and they know what's happened in the last 10 years. I know I'm brutal against UM.
Some of them.
It's all in good fun. We love you guys. But if you're not poking them, then it's not a rivalry, right? It's not a rivalry. But they know that they collapsed. They know that there's they're still, I think, kind of walking gently on the ice. Some of them. I mean, you have the knuckleheads that just, of course, you win one game. Miami always wins the offseason. They run out on the ice with their flags, and what do? They fall right through every freaking time.
Yeah.
Same thing. They end up in the icy waters, heading to the bottom. It's what in the last 20 years. That's it. That's been the Miami way. So, how thick is the ice? I don't know yet. They haven't played anybody.
I mean, I know they're going to be in for a dogfight with USF because
I think so.
I mean, there's just something about Alex Golesh and like the way he prepares his football team and gets them ready to go for these big games. Like, I just feel like he's not going to let them, and they're not going to let themselves get blown out in these games against these really good opponents. Like, they're going to go down given the best effort they have. And I don't think you could always say that about USF teams before Alex Golesh arrived, even though that they're not nearly as talented as Miami is. You could probably put on one hand how many teams are more talented than Miami is in the country. So It's not going to be easy. I think it's doable. The line for this game is 17. The Alabama line was 31, which I knew was outrageous when I saw it. Forget what the final score ended up being. And 17,
they won by 25, I think.
They won by 25, but we know that game was not a 25-point game.
At 7 minutes, 6:37, whatever it is when he kicked the field goal.
So I even think I think, and I don't know if it's just us because we've watched a lot of USF and we're here in the market, but I have a feeling that 17 seems a little too high for my liking from a line standpoint.
Oh, I'm taking the Bulls all day long.
Because I think this is going to – I'm not saying USF's going to win this football game, but I think it's going to be very, very close once again because the evidence shows me that when they play really good teams, they fight like hell, and they stay in it. And then it's going to turn to Alex Golesh. Can he hit the right buttons at the right time to get his team over the hump? Because against Alabama, I think we would agree he was not able to do that.
Right. And they got some, I don't want to say fortuitous bounces, but they got some big time turnovers against Alabama that changed that game.
And the other part of this too is Byron Brown. This is weird, but like he's the best player that USF has. I think we would all agree, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But going back to the game against Alabama last year, which was very competitive, and the Alabama game 2 weeks ago that was very competitive. He has not played well at all in both of those games, which is kind of weird to say. Your best player did not play well necessarily in both of those games against a premier opponent. So I'm really looking at him today because in that game 2 weeks ago, like I said, there are 4 deep balls in the first half that if he just hits one of them, USF's run into the end zone, and who knows, that's a different ball game.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
If that
sphincters
presents-
really get tight in
I'm
Alabama.
saying, if that presents itself in this game, Byron Brown's got to be able to hit at least one of them. He's got to be able to make a big play through the air. I understand he's going to be able to run, and they're going to lean on him there, but through the air, I think Byron Brown needs to be big time in this game for them to have a shot.
Well, I think, Alabama, one of the things they did was they made him run the football. They took away the running back dive in the RPO game, and we're going to force him to run the football and hit him, because that's how you get to any quarterback. You hit him. And if you can get hits on them early on, it's going to affect the way they throw the football. It's going to affect everything. Right. And I think I think Miami's going to look at that tape and go, okay, we got a fast physical defense, and we'll take the dive every time. We're not going to let Naquan Wright and Kelly Joyner beat us. We're going to stuff the running backs. We'll make the quarterback beat us. And look, it's up to Byram to get out of bounds, to slide, to not take the hits. He doesn't do that. Yeah. He takes too many hits. He's got to smarten up a little bit and understand that, give up the little battle to win the war. You can't take, if you get 7-8 yards, slide it, when the play's up. If you're one-on-one with a safety, you can beat him. But if you got 3 defensive backs converging on you and a linebacker 8 yards down the field, get on the ground. You're not going anywhere. Just be smart. And I don't know, he's just such a competitor. He doesn't have that gene yet. And it's hard to get out of guys, but you got to be smarter, because you got a long game to play, and they're going to need big plays in the passing game to beat Miami. You're not just going to run for 360 like you did against Southern Miss. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to be balanced. You're going to have to big plays in the passing game, and they know that. So you've got to play smart, Byram, and the receivers got to make big plays too. Sean Atkins, who I'm going to interview today for tomorrow's show, he's got to have a big game. I need to see him get 8-9 catches, converting on first down, and make some big plays for this team, and just get everybody involved. And I think they got a shot at winning this game. I think 17's way too much.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's going to be a high scoring game too. What do you think? Yeah, I want to do a little parlay on the over. I think the over under is in the 60s, but I think it's going to be a track meet.
I actually see both teams scoring under 30. I think it's going to be somewhere in that 20s range.
Okay.
Because I think assuming the USF defense plays with their hair on fire like they did against Bama, and the home crowd, the energy I think is going to be there too, which is going to help.
Yes.
And if you could force Cam Ward, I mean, we haven't really seen Cam. He made the one mistake in the Florida game where he just nonchalantly tried to throw across his body and it got picked off.
Yep.
But it did end up mattering in that game. But it's there on Cam Ward's tape at Washington State, some of these careless turnover issues, and that's what you have to be able to force him to do.
Yeah. Yeah, again, he's looked great, but if you go back and look at the numbers and the tape, he is
the problem
with football.
The problem that could present itself is I think USF has improved up front on both sides of the ball, but now going against Miami, I think Miami's better than Alabama is in the trenches. I truly believe that.
Wow.
And I think Damian Martinez, what he can do, big bruiser, I think he's 230 or 240 pounds, something like that. If that guy starts to wear you down a little bit and USF's defensive line's not getting any push, that's where it becomes a long night.
Yep.
That's the thing against playing teams like this, is there's so many different ways they can try to counteract if one thing's not going right. And does USF have enough in the chamber to keep up with that?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think they got to get 3 turnovers to win this game. And I think Cristobal needs to make a couple of errors coaching, which he typically does in big games. So, and that's got to be part of it. But listen, it happens every week in college football. Hell, it happens.
Yeah. If I will say, if the ACC, if Miami loses this game, I mean, the ACC just has to. I don't know what we're going to do about them, man. Not one team will be undefeated through 4 weeks.
They won't have a conference much longer anyway. And we'll talk about this with Scott Chiefs coming up, but I just, there's this idea floating around that FSU and Clemson could stay in the conference until 2030 when a lot of these deals are done again. I don't think that's where FSU's head is at, but I think a lot of the calculations have changed, but I think they still believe they have a strong case. And if they get this summary judgment, we'll talk about this with Scott, I think they're in great position to force a very reasonable settlement. And then where do they go? Look, I was listening to my buddy Jeff Cameron's podcast, great podcast, by the way, up in Tallahassee. If you're a Knoll fan, and he was talking about this as well. And of course, the Osceola podcast with Pat Burnham. Of course, we'll be doing one today, Seminole Sideline. So look for that. But he was talking about, look, all the presidents and the commissioners and all this, it doesn't matter what they say. The networks are running this stuff. The networks run everything. They're the money pot. They'll dictate who's in and who's out and for what reasons. And he's absolutely right. That's the way it's been in pro football. It's the way it's always been. The networks run everything because at the highest level, they are the money people. And they will tell what the conferences, what they need to do in terms of expanding and who they expand with. And Florida State's media rights, as I said, $100 million a year. That's what they're worth. They are the prize free agent. You can hate them. You can say they're petulant. You can hate their legal strategy, whatever, are crying about being snubbed. It doesn't matter. The numbers are what they are. And they are the most sought after media rights. That's what this is about. It's not about academics. I hate to tell you Big Ten snobbery. It's not about academics. This is about media rights. It's a television deal. It's a football television deal. That's what it is.
You want to do a little Bucks preview before we get to the top of the hour with Scott?
Yes, let's do that. First of all, injury report, Gedeke still in concussion protocol. That bothers me.
It does bother me, but
he's not going to play. I mean, in terms of, what are you doing,
Gedeke?
No, it is what it is.
Two things. I said, after reading what Josh Capo had wrote, and I said it on Monday's show about the whole pressures thing with Hutchinson, went back and watched, I think 3 of the 5 sacks from Hutchinson were on Schooley. But outside of that, he kind of held up okay. And I know it's it's still 3 sacks, but it's Justin Schooley versus the number 2 pick, who's one of the best pass rushers in the league. So
he changed the way the game was called. We couldn't do 7-step drops anymore.
Correct. And I don't think he got enough help.
We had to get the ball out of our hand, and then the defense reacts to that.
Right.
He wrecked the game.
He did wreck the game. I'm not saying he did it. I'm just saying that Justin Schooley, it's not like he was responsible for all the 5 sacks and he was a total nightmare for 60 minutes because I don't think he really was.
They started chipping after that. They started giving him lots of help, which they needed to do from the very beginning.
Point 2 to that, JP, is I don't see an Aiden Hutchinson anywhere near this Broncos defense.
Exactly.
So I don't think we're going to have the same issue as the Bucs had last week without Luke Gedeke. So that's going in place, and I like to think Liam Cohen is going to be able to adjust as well. And maybe you won't see Justin Schooley on an island as much as he was. And if Cade Otton is held back more as a blocker like we saw in Detroit, then I need him to be better in that facet as well.
Yeah, I agree with all that stuff. And this is a good week to be playing the Denver Broncos with this injury list.
This is a hell of a week. I just found so many cool little nuggets this week on this matchup. First one, I got this one from Scott Reynolds, actually, from Pewter Report. And it's hard to believe this. The Bucs have not been 3-0 since 2005.
That's right.
We're going 19 years since the Bucs have been 3-0. Golden opportunity to do it, especially with the Saints at 2-0, the Falcons getting the win they did. We're just going to gloss over Carolina. They don't exist. So great opportunity to get to 3-0. And listen to this. The numbers on Bo Nix. So the Broncos, this is why I'm so confident in this game, because I don't know what the Broncos do well, especially from an offensive standpoint.
Nothing.
And they don't do anything well. They're 28th in total offense. I think they're 24th or something in passing, and that's just because they've been behind and Bo Nix has had to throw a lot. And then in running the football, they are absolutely terrible. Terrible. Javonte Williams has done nothing all year, and Mike McGlinchey is out for this game, and that brings me to point number 1 today is Yaya Diaby, I think, is getting 3 sacks in this game. I'm putting it out there right now. Yaya Diaby's getting 3 sacks today. The Bucs have not been able to get sacks this season, but in terms of getting pressures this season, they've actually done really well. The numbers on them, they have 41 pressures through 2 games. They've hit the quarterback 11 times. It forced Jared Goff on both of his interceptions was when they finally got a little bit of pressure on him and hit him, right? The only reason why Jaden Daniels, it was a little different is because guess what? Jaden Daniels' superpower is that he can run a little bit. Okay. So that made it look worse than what it really was. But so the Bucks are actually
Bo
getting
Nix can
pressure.
move. He can move. He's
Bo
no
Nix can
Jaden
move.
Daniels, but
Bo Nix can move, but he's not Jaden Daniels. And Yaya Diaby, the reason why I say he's getting 3 sacks today, because through 2 weeks, there are only 2 players in the NFL that have one more on their pass rushes than him. And that's Aiden Hutchinson at 45%, Trey Hendrickson's at 43.5%, and then Yaya Diaby is third on that list at 38%. So he is winning on many of his reps. He has 12 pressures through 2 games, which is fantastic. And eventually he's going to get home. And without Mike McGlinchey playing in this football game, the right tackle for Denver, a very solid right tackle, I think Yaya Diaby is going to eat in this game. And so I think he gets 3 sacks. That's my big key for the Bucs defense.
Well, I'm going to see what the betting line is on that.
It's probably great. And then a little number on Bo Nix that I found, just to put in perspective how bad he's been. Listen to this. When Bo Nix has thrown passes 5 yards or more downfield, 5, you heard that right, not 50, 5. He is 11 of 36 for 212 yards in all 4 of his interceptions. That's a 30.6% completion rate. And that is the lowest figure in weeks 1 and 2 over the last 10 years by any quarterback.
That is
throwing
really
passes more than 5 yards, by the way.
That is really bad.
It's that bad. It's that bad in Denver.
I was talking to Servassier, Dennis, yesterday, and he was asked about Bo Nix in the offense, and he gave this answer. It was kind of funny. It was like he was searching to be nice, and he was trying to be nice and not just. And he actually started laughing a little bit, so he wasn't trying to dump on him. He was like, "Well, Bo Nix is, he's a talented young player, and was combining with Sean Payton's offense, and they have their thing." He was just he was trying to make he didn't want to say, man, we looked at the film and it's dog shit. It is absolute dog shit. It's awful.
Right.
And it is. And it is. So, let's keep that going. Let's keep that going.
And also good find from Greg Allman this morning on this one too, that the Bucs, through 2 games, they have faced the most pass attempts of any team in the league, 80. And yet they are the only team not to surrender a passing touchdown this season.
How about that?
And opposing quarterback rating is 72.3, which is the 8th lowest in the NFL. So I told you the Bucs secondary is one of those things where I was looking at and I was like, I don't know. You're expecting Zion to take this step, but you remove Ryan Neal.
2 of the guys that had more mental errors all these past 2 years. And when guys weren't getting covered and there were busts, a lot of times it was on those 2 guys and Devin White. Almost all the time. You move, I said this before the season, get Ryan Neal, Devin White, and Carlton Davis off the field, and you're going to see the mental errors go down dramatically. And boy, was that evident last week they were on their points. They were attacking the ball. Baldinger did a great breakdown that I put on my Twitter at the JP Peterson show that shows how they were rallying to the ball and tackling and jumping routes right and left, and 9 pass defense. I mean, that's a huge number.
Right.
They're playing great defense, and even without Vita Vea and Cansey, they shut down the Lions, which is probably one of the best offenses in the game. So I tell you what, they should devour this Broncos team. If they don't look ahead to the Eagles, and they shouldn't be, they should devour this Broncos offense and keep them from.
And I
can't see them scoring 10 points.
Yeah, and I also offensively, I think the Rod God keeps it going. I think he goes 3 in a row here of being perfect because I'm gonna just assume that Pat Surtain Jr. or Pat Surtain II is going to be on Mike Evans for the majority of this football game. And I think after Pat Surtain, there's a pretty big drop-off in that Broncos secondary and their ability to cover. And so Chris Godwin, I think, is going to have another day today. Eventually, someone's going to figure it out a little bit on how to stop Chris Godwin, but I don't think it's going to be the Broncos. And I don't think it's going to be the Eagles the week after either. So I'm going to keep slamming it home that Chris Godwin's going to have big games.
You're saying 5-0? Wow.
I didn't. No. I didn't say the Bucs are going to win all these games. I'm just saying in terms of stopping Chris Godwin, I don't think it's going to be Denver, and I don't think it's going to be Philly. But you got to win this week.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Scott Jeeves is going to join us. We're going to talk about the updates in the FSU ACC lawsuit. We'll also talk about his Gators, even though he doesn't want to. We got it all for you. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com, and Italiano Insurance. Don't forget, just give them a call, 813-877-7799. Make sure you have your business insurance intact and up to date, and also your auto and your homeowner's insurance. They can find cheaper companies for you. So give them a call and find out. Let them do all the work. You do all the savings. Italiano Insurance. Back in 3 with Scott Chief. Stay with us. Discover a world of elegance and sophistication at the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're searching for your first piece or celebrating a special milestone, their expert team is here to guide you every step of the way. Navigating the world of fine jewelry can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to helping you choose the perfect piece, ensuring you feel confident and informed. At the Gold and Diamond Source, they pride themselves on offering only the highest quality jewelry. From stunning engagement rings to timeless watches, each piece is crafted with precision and care. So take advantage of their 5 years interest-free financing. This means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. And if you're new to buying diamonds, their first-time buyer program will educate you on the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat, and help you understand the different shapes and sizes available. Go enjoy the great staff at the Gold and Diamond Source. You'll be family forever. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the U.S. Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the J.P. Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Thursday as we talk all things Bucks and college football. Lots to get to today in our second hour. We'll hit the Rays a little bit as well, and of course, some NFL action going on. But let's welcome in one of our great sponsors and terrific attorneys, Scott Jeeves of the Jeeves Law Group. Good morning to you, Scotty. How are you, partner?
I'm good. See, I'm going to talk Gators. Women's volleyball, number 16 beat number 18, 3-2. See, you're underestimating me. I did have some good Gator news.
I think I saw FSU and Florida were playing volleyball on ESPN a couple nights ago.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, they're both ranked.
Who won?
Florida 16 and FSU's 18. We did 3-2.
All right, congratulations.
I think we were home though.
Damn, I was going to say we're a volleyball school now, but we can't even say that. Damn it. Oh, no.
Hey, you're ranked. You can say it.
Well, in volleyball, yeah, we are. Not so much in football, which let's get it out of. Let's get the monkey or the elephant out of the room here. Have you ever remembered, as big a Gator fan as you are, and the biggest Seminole fan of, that these two programs start a season this bad? I mean, at least you guys got a W. I mean, we don't even have
Somebody
that.
told me it's like 45 or 50 years that we have not been this collectively bad in a football arena, the two schools. That's kind of scary.
Now you're a big Gator booster. So what is the scuttlebutt among you and your friends, your big money Gator booster friends, with Billy Napier? I mean, I've heard that you've already got the money raised to kick him out. Is this true?
That's what I've heard too.
So when's that happening?
I don't think he's got a long leash. I think he needs to improve the quality of play on the field significantly. We've got, and as you've already talked to me, we've got a very tough schedule, but what we're putting out there, I mean, I went to the Texas A&M game, and then when the interception to a touchdown, I was like, our group collectively all got up without even saying anything to each other and started heading out. You can't have that for Gator football. You can't have that for FSU when your fan base is leaving in the third quarter. It's unacceptable. It's just not going to happen.
I'll tell you what'll end up happening. I'll tell you what'll end up happening is October 5th. Circle your calendars when UCF rolls into the swamp and wins that football game. That is when things will start to move because he can't lose to UCF at home. Can't do it. I
got one of our new attorneys, Cooper Dickinson, went to UCF, and he circled that date, highlighted it for me. He said, "Hey, let's go." He's had a little fun with that because I think he's feeling very confident this year.
Are you going to go to that game with Cooper?
I don't know if I can take it.
Listen, I'm right there with you, buddy. Listen, everybody this weekend, FSU fans are like, "Are we going to go watch Cal, the newest ACC member, Cal?" come into our house and beat us when we were laughing when they were entered into the ACC. We're all like, oh my God, we took Stanford and Cal. And now they're going to come whoop our ass. There's no FSU fans are going up for that. It's like you said, when you lose the fan base, that's bad. Now, Mike Norvell is not going to get fired because we owe him $60 million. So that's not happening. But there's certainly a lot of fans that have lost trust. But you're right. When the money dries up from the boosters, things have to happen, right?
They clearly do. And the sad part is you've got people like Morgan out there going, hey, at least Mullins won. At least Mullins could coach, even though he couldn't recruit, he could win. And so, you got to win. The bottom line is you got to win. And then I'm gonna give Cooper a double credit. Cooper, because we had so many NIL discussions, he pulled the Georgia governor thing where you can pay directly to the players now. So that's Virginia, Georgia, the fine institutions, they can pay directly. So as you said, that NIL money is getting, more and more direct and has more and more play. I mean, that's one of the things. FSU's got talent. It's just all new and hasn't played together. And it's like a mercenaries that you've hired. It's just hard to gel that.
Yeah, no, it's no good. All right, so let's drill down on the FSU lawsuit here a little bit. There was an article that came out this week about floating the idea of FSU and Clemson staying in the conference for another 5 years, and that could help bring them to a mutual agreement. I don't think FSU has any interest in that whatsoever. In fact, I know they don't. But so explain this from a legal standpoint. If Florida State feels like their legal arguments are strong enough, they're not going to pursue that type of settlement, right?
You'd never know what they're going to do. And let's think about it. You now got a 12-team playoff. You guys originally got in the ACC so you could dominate with Clemson. If they shift that money around, the TV money around to make it more pro forma, I think Tempe Times today had does it make sense for FSU to stay in this arrangement a little longer? And, you and Clemson could dominate that conference and be a perennial top 12 team every year. Why, in some respects, why do that? Why go to the Big Ten? Why go to the SEC and fight those battles? I just think you guys, in some respects, there is compromise, and compromise is going to, both sides aren't perfect. ACC is not perfect. FSU is not perfect. There's got to be a compromise, especially the dollars, and maybe a more aggressive and active combined thing against ESPN, try to get your television revenue rights up for the future. Maybe there is some compromise there. But right now with the way either program's playing, it's not. Nobody's got a big scream. Nobody's got a stick right now. Last year, you guys had a big stick. Yeah,
but the 3-game start has nothing to do with the legal arguments, right? I mean, it feels really bad right now, but it has nothing to do with how the legal arguments go down.
I completely agree. I completely agree.
And here's what people have to understand: the reason FSU started this before they ever sued, before they ever said anything mean about the ACC, going back 2-3 years ago, they said, "Hey, you guys got to give us more money. Our media rights are driving all, basically, to keep it simple. We're driving all the media rights money, and then we're divvying up to all you other programs that don't deserve it." And it's like, okay, I get it, but we can't keep doing this when Florida and you guys, Wake Forest, you don't give a shit about competing against the Florida Gators. We do. Like North Carolina State, you don't care about having to compete against Georgia. We do. We're recruiting against them to keep us, the ACC, relevant as a football conference. So in order to do that in this new environment, we need what's due us in the media rights. And had the ACC gone, "You're right, you're the one driving the train, here's your pile of money that you deserve," there never would have been a lawsuit, ever. So finally now the ACC is like, "Okay, all right, we're going to give you the money." Well, why didn't you say that in the first place? And we wouldn't have to go through all this. Am I wrong here?
Hey, JP, if I paid you my sponsorship fee and I said your media rights weren't up to stuff and I want some money back, how likely are you to give me money without some kind of fight?
Right,
so
I get it.
Let's be honest, especially the millions of dollars that you're talking about. They're not going to do it without any fight. And remember, if you're the conference commissioner, you're supposed to do what's best for the conference, not just the top 2 teams. It's FSU and Clemson clearly drive the media rights for the ACC. They are by far, but this year it may be Miami. It may be Miami.
Miami. No, but on a consistent basis, they have been the driving force. And media rights don't shift year to year by how many games you win. It's a collective of, and basically that's based on what your fandom is. How many people watch your games? And Florida State's in the top 10, 15 in terms of every time they play, even when they suck. And so Miami isn't. Wake Forest isn't. NC State isn't. North Carolina isn't. Florida is. Florida's media rights are very, very valuable. That's why they're in the SEC. Even though you haven't had a winning season in forever, people tune into your games because you have a long
Thanks for the reminder, JP.
See how I stuck that in there, right? You see how
a little jab there. But a compliment to the FSU. I mean, when we were in Dublin, I saw like 10 FSU fans for every Georgia Tech fans. It was very, you guys drove that stadium and drove that game. It was like, it was definitely fun to see all the FSU fans getting out there to Dublin. I mean, that's not an easy trip.
No. And that's what drives this conversation. I kind of laugh when I see all these people on Twitter, and especially in the Big Ten, are like, "Oh, you're not an AAU program. We'll never admit you. You're not up to snuff academically." I'm like, bro, there's nothing to do with any of that. It's about media rights. It's about what your fans
FSU
bring.
in Florida, we can't get in anymore. You and I be going to like FGCU. They're such good academic institutions. I mean, they really are. And, I think Nick, as a kind of a neutral, he's got a great observation, which is highlight the UCF game.
Yeah.
We can't lose that game. I mean, and that's, if you look at the games we have on our schedule, that's, UCF and FSU right now, not picking on FSU, but those are the only ones I'm seeing that we clearly should win. We're not going to beat LSU. We're not going to beat any of Georgia.
You got Texas, number 1, Georgia, number 2, LSU's what, 16, I think?
Yeah, Oklahoma's 15.
Oklahoma. I mean, my God, that schedule, bro. I'm looking at our schedule going, where do we get a win? Charleston Southern is about the only place I see a win right now if we keep that DJ Pooh guy out there. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So where do you think this lawsuit is going now? With the summary, FSU has asked for summary judgment. Explain what that is and where you think it's heading now.
They've asked for partial summary judgment. So they're saying we want to get this portion of the case over. That's, again, a negotiation strategy. It kind of sets the tier or sets the table. So I think that's a really good thing, or a really good push by FSU. But I think eventually the parties are going to come together. We just don't know what that end result will be. And it's also what motivates, both sides. FSU may say we want a clean break. I just don't think that's going to happen. And there's there's downside for ACC, there's downside for FSU. And everybody's got to be aware of that. And right now, JP, where do you guys want to go? Do you want to go to the Big Ten? Do you want to go to the SEC? No. You guys have got to know.
We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. No, SEC doesn't want us. I think that's pretty clear. Nor do they need us. I don't think it's a smart move for them to give us a full share of their media rights when our media rights would be diluted in the SEC. That would be actually enhanced in the Big Ten because bigger markets would now be consuming FSU games because they have to watch who's going to be the eventual leader in the conference. FSU. And
you look around right now, the Pac-12 scrambling to get a few more teams, so there'll be a conference within a year. They just paid for those 4 teams to come over from the WAC or whatever it is. So they're building. Shoot, if I was FSU, how much is the Pac-12 willing to pay you to come there? I'm joking because I don't think it fits with your footprint, but
if it's more than the ACC, we'll take it. And I think there's always the Big 12 that would love to grab Clemson, and because their media rights are up for renewal. So if they could grab Clemson and FSU, their bargaining power goes, through the roof with Fox or whomever they're going to. So yeah, I think there's so much in play right now, but FSU needs to get this lawsuit cleaned up. I think it is kind of hanging over the program like just a dark cloud. And so much of what was, you go after that win in the ACC championship game over Louisville, this program was at its very height. We were going to the playoff. It was amazing. And since then, it has been the freaking Titanic heading for the bottom of the Atlantic in a rapid fall. It's crazy.
Well, but I think the program, you guys have done well as far as maintaining integrity. You got your kids rings that represent the 13-0 season. You've done some things that reflect what a quality program FSU is, and Florida would do the same too. So I think it's we're in that quagmire, and it's I feel sorry for the coaches right now because they're suffering. I'm pretty sure that everybody wants to win.
Yeah. And
it's just tough. But the problem that I see, particularly with Napier, is what's happening on the field, the defense and the offensive lines. I haven't seen them look worse in years. And you supposedly have your kids in there that were supposed to be, 4 and 5 star. Why aren't they performing?
Yeah.
And we've got kids, our linebackers are NFL quality, and they don't look good because they're getting blocked by the offensive line. You've got guys up front that should be occupying people, and they're not. It's just horrible. Even
same thing going on in FSU.
If I'm Morris that stayed in next year, you've got to have an offensive line, and I think that I talked about that with you a little in the Georgia Tech game. Those kids had been together; they were cohesive. They were a unit. They knew what to do. Those lines, and I think that's a huge advantage, especially early on in the season. Georgia Tech doesn't have the depth, but their first string is just as good as almost anybody else. So
Yeah,
I think as long as,
and those Georgia Tech players that
Go ahead.
actually played together, FSU was starting 2 guards who they brought in the portal. One from Florida, Leonard, and the other from Alabama. And that to me is kind of a microcosm of the issue. They're not fitting in. They don't know the system. They're making basic mistakes. So it doesn't matter how good you are, your talent is. If you're not playing the way you're being coached to play and you're making mental mistakes. I mean, we had a 3rd and 4 in a crucial part of the game against Memphis. We had 4 guys run blocking and the left tackles pass blocking and rucks to play. And it's just like, and they're not. And it's when you deal with the portal and you change your roster by 30-40% every year, like FSU's been doing, eventually you're going to get burned because they don't play together. They're not playing for a cause, and they're just not a team like they were last year.
There's got to be a happy medium, because you can't do the opposite like Dabo at Clemson. I'm just going to keep my guys internal because he's not able to keep up with the talent pool either. You've got to have a good mix of both. And you really need that, and especially going forward. People are going in the portal. That's going to happen. And you better know how to.
You got to use it to your advantage by weeding out the players that aren't working out that you've recruited. I think Alabama and Georgia do this really well. I mean, if a player leaves Georgia like Marvin Jones Jr., and everybody's like, whoa, he's a 4-5 star. He's coming to Florida State. He's going to dominate like Jared Verse did. Nope. It doesn't happen with every player. And I think, Georgia wasn't crying when they let him go. A lot of these players come in and they're not what they thought they were. And I hate to say that about one of my favorite players, Marvin Jones' son, but he just ain't getting it done. And so this is the problem with the portal.
Give him a little bit, maybe towards the end of the season, he'll start getting it done. He'll know.
He might figure it out.
Remember, football is always that reaction time, that initial reaction time where you got to move. If you don't know the system, that half second, that second delay makes a big difference for both schools.
Totally agree.
About if our lines in either team, if they pushed a little bit more back and changed a little bit of the dynamic, that 1 second, makes a difference. And it's just the speed of that stuff and the speed of the game. Look into the NFL level. That's why people don't make it at the NFL
level. Do you
level.
have confidence that Billy Napier is going to straighten that all out?
Well, you were already. I'm going to defer to Nick, and we're going to wait till the UCF game, see what happens.
All right, partner. Well, listen, but you did enjoy your Dublin trip with all us FSU fans, right?
Oh, I did. I got to wear my Florida shirt the one day and didn't get hit, so I'm okay. It was a great trip. I think it's amazing that you guys got to play that game. It was kind of a once in a lifetime thing. So I really thank you for the invite.
Yeah, and Desmond. Oh, yeah. Thank you for the invite. And Desmond Howard said to you, "What the hell are you doing wearing that shirt?" That shirt? Yeah, nobody knew. Nobody knew, but you repped it well. All right, partner. Thank you for your sponsorship. We really appreciate it. Thank you for sponsoring the Gator Report. Hopefully, the Gator Reports will be better as the season moves on, but I'm not very confident in that. Yeah. All right, partner. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, we'll see you soon. Scott Jeeves there from the Jeeves Law Group. I think you nailed that, Nick. That when FSU lost to USF at home, that was kind of trailing towards the end.
Eye-opening.
Yeah, of the Bobby Bowden era.
Well, especially if you lose to UCF, it depends. Like, next on their schedule is Mississippi State. And Mississippi State is probably right there with Florida as we're talking, worst teams in the SEC.
Yeah, Toledo just went into Starkville and beat them by, 23 points, I think.
Yeah, so, honestly, UCF it makes it worse because that game's at home, and that's an in-state team. Not necessarily a rival, but it's an in-state team that, listen, is starting to recruit really well right now. Number 1 recruiting class in the Big 12 set up for 2025. So you're recruiting against those kids. So that could be a shift in recruiting. So that's why that game is very important. But if you lose to Mississippi State, I don't know if he makes it to the UCF game. I don't know.
Well, who would they put in charge? Who's on the staff? Is anybody on staff that has head coaching? I don't even know. Probably look.
I'm going to look up the Florida coaching staff real quick and see.
Well, there is a guy that has an office right down the.
See, I've barely. Yeah, you're right.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
I mean, you could also
imagine them just saying Steve Spurrier is going to be their interim ball coach.
I guess so.
How
I saw
old is
Urban.
Steve?
Urban took himself out of the running yesterday. He said that ship has. He said, and I quote, "That ship has long sailed."
Yeah, because there's no way. There's no way with the stuff that we know that he did. Like, can you imagine the stuff we don't know?
Right.
I mean, like we know you covered up Aaron Hernandez shooting people, that you knew he did it, and everybody knew he did it, and it got brushed under the rug. And you played him for another 3 years. We know that. What don't we know? What don't we know?
Oh,
that the administration knows.
Every coach, though, especially from that era, I think was digging holes. Yeah. So,
I mean, I've seen this about bring back Jimbo Fisher to FSU. No, that ship has sailed.
Well, people say I saw people saying like, "Oh, that FSU should bring him in to help with recruiting," and it's like, yeah, he recruited well from a class standpoint on paper at Texas A&M every year. But what was the hit rate? It wasn't very high. So no. I don't see the sense there. I know Jimbo like kind of trying. It seemed like he was getting involved a little bit more with stuff in Tallahassee.
First of all, trying to mend fences, but of all things he's good at. I mean, I know he brought in, he was that recruiting class, but those were classes that were brought in by great recruiters. Like his staff at Florida State was a great recruiting staff.
Right. This
something they don't have now, by the way.
This staff stinks.
This staff is terrible at high school recruiting. We need to have Corey Long on and Pat Burnham to talk more about that. So, and I think the same thing at Texas A&M. They were recruiting well because they were throwing tons of money at players. Pre-NIL, by the way. They were paying, just tell you what it is, folks. It's Texas A&M. They're paying a lot of players. So, I mean, I don't think Jimbo Fisher's this great recruiting guru at all. I don't think he is at all. And I think where he is right now, as much money as he's made, recruiting takes a lot of effort.
I don't think
you got to travel. You got to go kiss ass for 17, 16-year-old kids. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of crap swallowed.
Yeah.
To be a great recruiter, and he has no energy for that.
I suppose anything could happen, but I actually don't even see him coaching ever again. Like I don't.
He'll get a job. He'll get a job.
I don't know.
Gruden's angling for a college job. They're big names. Teams want to make a splash to get money coming in. They'll get shots. They'll get shots.
Yeah, maybe. I guess. Guy's got so much money from his buyout. He doesn't need to coach, and I don't know.
But it's like Gruden. It's like, what do you do? There's only so much golf.
I have to say this right now. The Gruden Loves Football YouTube page that he debuted before week 1 is fantastic. We have lost as a society that John Gruden is not on Monday Night Football as the announcer anymore, because to me he was the best Monday Night Football color guy that there ever has been. That's my opinion.
Ooh,
that's my opinion.
Well,
in my time,
you weren't around for
in my time.
Andy Don and Cosell and Gifford.
In my time,
the greatest of all time.
In my time. But I encourage you, if you find the Gruden Loves Football Twitter account or the YouTube account that he's been doing, it's like he's got the whiteboard, he's got the Expo markers, he's got the yellow notepads, and he's doing the whole Gruden thing where he's like putting his hands like this. And I got to play a clip for you. I got to show you how he was talking about Joe Mixon. I got to play the clip for you. I'll pull it up in the break and we can play it coming out, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, Joe Mixon's a hell of a player. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll do some NFL. I got a couple more clips from the Bucs yesterday that I want to play. Servassier Dennis and another Zion McCullum one that is just hilarious about him and his brother tackling each other. I got to get that one up as well. So lots more coming your way here. We're brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. Big shout out to Julie and Steve Weintraub, great supporters of the program. We love you folks. And if you're in the market for a phenomenal engagement ring, and anyway, whatever your price range, that's the beauty of the Golden Diamond Source. They've got something for you, and they've got the best staff that will not try to pressure you into something that's going to cost you more money. I just over there the other day, just wonderful folks on every level. Guys, if you're looking for a new watch or a gently used watch, they've got a great selection there. Looking for any men's jewelry, great cufflinks, tie tacks, all that stuff is there. And, of course, the engagement rings, the best place, a trusted place for over 40 years. You know what you're getting. Everybody's cutting corners in this economy, folks. So don't go to some jewelry store and let them tell you this ring's worth X amount of dollars. It probably isn't. It's the gold and diamond source. All right, back in 3. Stay with us. Hey, it's football season, and we welcome back the Gator Report every Monday and Friday, sponsored by the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Just go to the website. You can contact them through there. Scott Jeeves is a tremendous, aggressive attorney and a big Gator fan, so we appreciate him supporting this show and, of course, your Florida Gators. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Whether it's personal injury or anything else, any law matter at all, it's the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Give them a call. Tell them JP sent you. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at RogersParkGolf.net. That's RogersParkGolf.net. See you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC. If you have any issues with your AC or plumbing, they are the folks to go to. 3 generations. They've been in business since 1995. They have a great reputation. Go check out their website at thirdgenerationplumbing.com. See all the great Google reviews that they have there. John Rodriguez, the owner there, a great dude and has run a great company for a long time. So you just want an honest tech coming out and giving you the deal, right? And they do great work at great prices as well. Thirdgenerationplumbing.com. They also do AC. So if your AC goes out, you got a friend in the business, just give them a call and tell them JP sent you. All right, partner, let's do a little NFL here if we can. Go ahead with the Gruden stuff. What you got here?
Oh, this is my little taste of Gruden.
Yes.
Okay, this was him talking about Joe Mixon after his great week 1.
All right.
I love Joe Mixon. I don't like him. I love him. I said it a couple weeks ago. There's good burgers and great burgers. There's good hotels, great hotels. There's good backs and great backs. And don't anybody second guess Mixon. He has me feeling really nicey. You ever heard that song, Nicey? He reminds me of Ricky Waters. Great vision.
Nicey?
He flashes power. I mean, at the end of runs, he'll knock you back. He can catch the ball. He does an excellent job with his elusiveness, and he can really finish you off at the end. He gets stronger as the game goes on. Watch the last 3 plays of what he did to the Colts last week. I mean, this guy was fresh as a daisy. He's an awesome back. They have another guy, Pierce.
He's so good.
Fresh as a daisy.
He's so good.
So he goes off. He shows the tape and all that stuff.
Yeah. He has longer. This is just a snippet, but he has the longer tape breakdowns on YouTube. Like he did Aaron Rodgers last week. It's just, I don't know. There's something about his voice that is just very like endearing to like listening to him break down football.
He's so excited. The passion that he gets into it. I don't like him. I love him. Yeah, he's fantastic. All right, getting back to the Bucks. Let's play a couple more clips here of Servas. This is Servasier Dennis yesterday. We're chatting about the win against the Lions and what kind of confidence that this brings for a guy that, that was probably his breakout game, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was tremendous. His speed on the field, his knowledge of the game. Bowles has been raving about it. He's just been hurt the whole time he's been here. He's finally healthy. And, I think before it's all over, he's going to be starting at that backer. What an upgrade from Devin White. Oh, my God. Here we go.
Now, tough them in a lot of different places, especially in the fourth quarter. I think you guys played 83 plays on defense. What does that do for your confidence as a team? What was the conversation like after the game?
I think it boosts the confidence a lot just because we feel like we have each other's back. The offense, can have any type of day they want, but they lean on us. Same with us. We have any type of day we want, but we lean on the offense. So I think the confidence definitely boosted just because, we have each other's back. But also, it's the defensive mentality. You got to go out there. You got to play football, physical football. You know what I mean? So it's definitely confidence booster. Yeah, of course. I know.
Yeah, I think that so much of football is confidence, belief, momentum. But when you go out and do something like that, you can practice it all you want. But when you execute it against a team like the Lions in their den, it takes you to a whole nother level. I talked to a bunch of guys about this yesterday, and you could just see it in their eyes. Zion said the same thing. In fact, I think I have one from him as well. See if I can get the right one here.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who has.
That's the one on Baker. Stand by.
A game like that in another place is kind of a backyard brawl. The secondary was so physical and so good. What does that do for your confidence that you can go into a place like that and get a win like that?
It does everything for our confidence. I mean, we're already a confident group, and we're always going to shoot for the skies. But when you actually go out there and execute and everything works and falls your way, it lets you know that everything that you were doing is correct. So we're just going to go out this next week of practice and do everything that we've been doing, continuing to grind, continuing to treat it like it's camp, and continuing to get better.
And for you personally, when you know that moment as a defensive back and you got to jump around, if you go back a year or two, like how has that changed for you in terms of your confidence level? Now you know when to go and when not to.
It's night and day. I mean, my rookie year, trying to jump routes, I was always scared. I was always fearful. I didn't necessarily trust myself. But now that I know that I have the coach's trust, I have my teammates' trust, and now I'm starting to trust myself, I can really know what I see from film, and when I see it out there in the game, just go for it.
Yeah, I love that and his confidence has grown so much. And he's a perfect example of where this defense is at right now. They've got such good players in the back end. And that performance is going to give the coaches more confidence in them to call certain things in games. And the way they executed it, they know that they can do that each and every game and what the expectations are and where they should be. It's like anything else in life. When you accomplish it, you've been, you're practicing it, but when you go out and do it, it just gives you a whole different level of confidence to play with. And so much you hear about him jumping routes, so much of that, it is confidence. It's like, stop listening to the guy in the back of your head said, don't blow it. And now you're going, let's go get it. It's a totally different mindset.
And by the way, even like, cause he could have had 3 interceptions in that game, if he really had wanted it. But, at the same time, it's like, I can live with him. Like obviously I want you to make the interception. I'm not saying that, but like just you getting your hand on the football and at least being in the position and going after it. Like I like seeing the initiative being taken because I think we've seen too many times with these Buck corners over the years where they're just not even getting close. Like, forget intercepting the football. They're not getting hands on footballs at all to even make any plays. Guys are just catching it and running all over. And you didn't see that last week when Zion McCollum was out there.
That's right.
I mean, like I said, I know Amon-Ra St. Brown had a lot of yards and a lot of catches, but I thought they kept everything in front of them, especially Zion.
Well, they were knocking the crap out of him, and that's why he wasn't available at the end of the game. When he caught the ball, he was getting drilled. We didn't even mention it too, by the way. We should have, but kudos to the Bucs. The Lions threw 55 times, and Sam Laporta had 1 catch. Yeah.
And like 2 targets or 3 targets. Complete non-factor in that football game. And so shout out. I mean, the game plan against the Lions was perfect. And now going against the Broncos, I mean, just from a weapons standpoint, like Cortland Sutton, he's not a number 1 receiver. He plays number 1 on this team, but he's not a number 1 receiver. Josh Reynolds is not a number 2. He's more of a 3, but he's having to play number 2 on this team. And I'm not sure if he's going to play in this game because I think he has an Achilles injury that he's been nursing. So we'll see. Greg Dulcich is he's athletic tight end, but he hasn't been able to put it together yet here in year 3. And the offensive line's been terrible. So it's such a great opportunity for the Bucs. And also too, the matchup, I saw this while I was sitting here, that Baker Mayfield so far this season is the number 1 quarterback, or number 2 rather, second most passing yards in this season against the blitz. And the Broncos blitz at the highest rate on passing plays of any team in the league. So it's a great matchup for Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, honestly. And speaking of Baker Mayfield, I've had ESPN on my TV this entire time. I just want to say the Bucs have been featured heavily on today's First Take, including right now. Baker Mayfield's getting love as we speak, the Buccaneers. So just going to put that out there. People are starting to wake up, and Tom Brady did his power rankings and had the Bucs as the 3rd best team in the league right now behind the Chiefs and Bills.
He's going to get mad now that Baker kind of called him out. Though.
He didn't mention Baker, by the way, in his little synopsis there. So, controversy.
See? That because Baker said he dirted balls when he didn't like the play. And Baker didn't get that from himself, by the way. He got that from probably his receiver.
Right.
And I don't want to make this a Baker versus Brady. It's not what this is about. But just a little clarity on that. By the way, here's another number for you, Nikki. With motion, the Bucs are 3rd most team with pre-snap motion this year. And he's got a 92 QBR, which I think is 2nd best in the league. They've gone from 43% of pre-snap motion to 67% because it helps identify mainly Godwin man-to-man. And then Godwin's 14 targets, 14 catches on the year, perfect quarterback rating in balls thrown his way. And 83% completion percentage with pre-snap motion for Baker. And that means Liam Cohen is doing what he needs to do to give Baker the pre-snap read, and that's huge.
Can you imagine the Bucs could run the football just at all?
It'll come. Detroit's great against the run. They're great against the run, and Gedeke didn't play.
I get that. I just have to be on. You have to be honest though. Like it's the one thing I know. Because I mean, listen, the numbers on Rachaad White, and this goes into like not just now, but like his entire time in the league. Like I think this year I saw that there's like 35 ball carriers that have gotten like 30 carries or more or something to the first 2 weeks, and he's dead last in yards per carry. Like, and this is 3 years. Like I think Bucky's a better runner than him. Yeah. And Rashaad's obviously damn good in space.
Let's give it. They're going to run the ball this week. I guarantee you. Let's see what you say after this week against Denver. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, Chris Lugo is going to join us. If you have any questions about your health, your nutrition, your supplements, testosterone, any of that stuff, put it in the comments, and we'll ask the doc. Free medical advice here from Chris Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. We'll do that when we come back. Stay with us. Discover a world of elegance and sophistication at the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're searching for your first piece or celebrating a special milestone, their expert team is here to guide you every step of the way. Navigating the world of fine jewelry can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to helping you choose the perfect piece, ensuring you feel confident and informed. At the Gold and Diamond Source, they pride themselves on offering only the highest quality jewelry, From stunning engagement rings to timeless watches, each piece is crafted with precision and care. So take advantage of their 5 years interest-free financing. This means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. And if you're new to buying diamonds, their first-time buyer program will educate you on the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat, and help you understand the different shapes and sizes available. Go enjoy the great staff at the Golden Diamond Source. You'll be family forever. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right, that's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Now I'm hungry for some Cafe Paradiso sausage rigatoni. Oh, it'd be so good for lunch. I have to get over there. All right, let's welcome in another one of our great sponsors, the great Chris Lugo. I bet has probably sampled some of the pasta at Cafe Paradiso. Oh, no, you're not much of a carb guy. You don't eat a whole lot of carbs, though, do you? What's up, Chris? How are you?
Branzino.
Have the sea bass.
Can't go wrong, right?
Yeah. Have you been to Cafe Paradiso?
I'm born and raised in Tampa. Are you kidding me? They've been open for what, 60 years, 70 years?
Okay. Just checking.
Back when his dad used to own it way back in the day. We broke off from Donatello's.
That's right. Wow. You know the history and everything. So
now.
All right. I just checking, just making sure everybody who knows anything about Italian food. Yeah. I know. So I tell everybody you got to go to Cafe Paradiso. Number 3 on open table. How about that?
I'm not surprised. If anyone's ever been there, it's like it's always packed. They got the locals that live in that Bayonet Point area.
Yeah.
They're always there. It's like he knows everybody by name who comes in there on a regular basis. It's insane.
You got celebrities like yourself and Esposito sitting in the back acting like the Godfather, people coming up and kissing the ring. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when you go to Cafe Paradiso. How are you, Gator? Well, you still got your Gator helmet up there. God bless you.
Come on. I'm born and raised here, 1977, 1978. Bucks sucked to hell, but I'm still a Buck fan.
Yeah. We just had Scott Jeeves on, big Gator fan. He's hanging in there by a thread. Their thread on the Napier bandwagon.
Billy will be gone by mid-season.
When he loses to UCF?
Well, half the games. He's going to lose half the games this year. I mean, they've got the toughest schedule in the nation. Come on, it's
history.
It's insane. I don't know who picked that schedule. He was trying to be, 8-pound sack of boys, or I don't know who picked it, but
I don't know how they do the SEC schedules. Like I'm sure they have some type of formula, but you look at like Georgia's schedule is one of the weakest in the nation, I think. And then the same, I know they don't do divisions anymore, but then Florida's is the toughest, which is weird. It's like, maybe is that Scott Strickland, the AD? I mean, he did schedule UCF, which I want to give him credit for.
And Miami.
And FSU. I mean, you're filling the house if they're home games, but damn, you're putting
people
your
are leaving early.
Yeah,
you're filling the house. People are leaving early.
But that stuff is scheduled like well in advance, like years, probably before Billy Napier was even here.
Yeah,
you think so? Really?
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. It's years out. That they have to adjust.
They do like 6-7 years out. Yeah. So you
not
never have
I'll be honest with you. So I like DJ. I think he's a great quarterback for a true freshman.
Yeah.
Makes some pretty smart decisions for being a true freshman. I mean, as we would joke around, I've said it before, frontal lobe isn't completely developed on that guy yet, and he's doing a great job. So imagine how good he's going to be in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Well, at least you're playing your quarterback.
JP, does your DJ, is his frontal lobe developed, you think?
I think Chris could do a lot for DJ. You could get him to lose weight, and maybe get a little faster. You could get him. I don't know. Clearly the synapses are not firing as fast as they should. There's. I don't know if it's frontal lobe issues or what. Well, he's like 29. He should be fully developed by now.
Be developed by then, yeah.
Yeah,
as Jocko would say, you bad teams, only bad leaders. So is it a bad?
Are you taking a shot at Norvell?
That or the coaching staff, one of the two, just not getting on the same page. They obviously saw something in him they liked that he's just not up to par. It's just not, something's not clicking. I mean, you've had teachers before in the past, like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And you get someone else going, explains it a different way. And you're like, oh, light bulb goes off. Like, that was easy. Like, why can't you tell me that? Like, maybe he's got an offensive coordinator or quarterback coach that isn't just meshing with him on his level.
Well, the thing that Norvell keeps talking about,
knows?
He keeps saying that DJU is playing great in practice, which, okay, that's nice, but we're not paying you, DJU, to play well on Thursday. It's Saturday afternoon. Do you need to get that? And he just doesn't.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. I mean, at what point do you go, he's not getting into games? Your practices are non-contact. He knows he's not going to get hit. Any quarterback can look great in that and under those circumstances. He's not doing it in the game. Move on. There's no reason. You've lost the fan base now because you keep putting DJ Pooh in there. You've lost half your team, I think, because you're not playing the recruits that you recruited. You recruited a 4- and 5-star quarterback. Play him. Man,
it's good to be 3-0 and not have any of these issues.
Shut up. At least you know why? Because you got quarterback right. That kid can play in that Gus Malzahn system, KJ, and you got right.
He's older than DJ.
Well, you got it right, though. You got it right, and you got to get quarterback right, or everything else just sucks. All right, partner, what's going on at the practice here today? Anything? What are the health trends happening? What's going on?
No health trends. I think the big thing that I've been talking about a lot with patients is the, medicine. I think we chatted about this before, just medicine 3.0 that's coming down the pipeline in the next few years. Medicine 2.0 will not go anywhere anytime soon. Hey, I'm coughing up green mucus. Hey, you got pneumonia. You need antibiotics. Medicine 2.0. Hey, my right lower side hurts. Oh, your appendix is getting ready to burst. It needs to come out. That's medicine 2.0. That's what's got it to this stage in our longevity that we now have people living to 70s, 80s years old. Medicine 3.0 will be like heart disease. We're going to be battling heart disease and a lot of those neuro issues and autoimmune disorders that are all from inflammation. And who's going to win this? Is it going to be the carnivore, keto, paleo people? Or is it going to be the veganism, low LDL that everyone wants to talk about, which really truly ApoB, what we talk about, or the statin people? My opinion is it's going to be the carnivore, keto, paleo people who have low inflammation. Yeah, their lipids look ugly if you look them on paper. I got one carnivore in my practice. I love to show his lipids to everybody because they all freak out because of the sea of red, except for his triglycerides are crazy low. And he's got no inflammation. And the guy's a type 1 diabetic. In 24 years, I have rarely met a diabetic who doesn't have a lot of inflammation. This guy has none.
Because of his diet.
Yeah. And he's a type 1 diabetic, and he's got an external pump that he barely uses any insulin, 5 units a day, which is nothing. It's a sprinkle. You guys make more than that during a day. And he eats eggs and meat every day, twice on Sunday. This guy is shredded. This guy, if you saw him on the street, like, that guy's on gear. He's not. I'm trying to put him on T, actually. Yeah. And he doesn't want to go on it because he feels phenomenal. He's older than me. He's 56, 57 years old. He's jacked and ripped just from eating clean and working out. He sleeps great, feels great. No reason to put the guy on T, but he's got low T, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, he's got everything else. And that's, 3.0 meds is what it's all about. I was watching a reel from a nurse who's just coming out of her shift, and it was like 4 minutes long, and she's worked at this hospital for 15 years, and she's talking about all, since the jab, all these things that are just heart rate, heart disease through the roof, strokes, aneurysms, inflammation of the heart, all this stuff coming in, turbo cancers, everything, autoimmune system issues. People are dying at record rates, and nobody's really talking about this, Chris. It's getting scary. And it's hard to even trust the medical system now. So what is your advice to people? I mean, concierge medicine, what you do is so important because what these other doctors are involved in, the system is it's crumbling. I mean, it really is it not? I mean, this is an existential threat to our health system. It's never been this bad.
No, I agree with you. If you're paying attention to the commercials, either one, you're seeing John Morgan on there telling me I won $20 billion for my clients, or two, you're seeing all these FDA drugs coming out for autoimmune disorders. Why are we seeing a barrage of autoimmune disorder drugs all of a sudden? Is just because now we've just got this R&D that's gone through the roof? Well, maybe, but why are they all rearing their ugly heads now? So I'll give you an example of medicine 3.0. Got a patient of mine taking care of the husband, complaining about his wife that she has no libido. She's got lupus. She's always in pain. She's gaining weight. And I said, well, it can't be my idea to bring her in here. It's got to be her idea to come see me. About a month or 2, 3 into this, she finally comes and sees me to her own abide. And I said, if I told you I had the cure for you, would you do it? Well, yeah. If I told you the cure was going to be something really weird that you've never been told before to do, and it actually sounds a little asinine, would you still do it? And she gave me the funny side-eye look. I go carnivore. What? Go carnivore. I go eggs, meat, seafood only. I go experiment with it. Play with it. Do it for 4 to 6 weeks. Tell me how you feel. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you for the rest of your life. 4 to 6 weeks. You can give me 4 to 6 weeks and see how you feel. First week, ease into it because I know you're very skeptical. After that, go big into it. Got an email from the husband here a couple weeks ago. All her pain is gone. She's lost 10 pounds of fat. She feels great. The last line is, do we stay on it? I go, you can do what you want. I go, but it's worth it.
I want to go back to the pain and the misery and the fat.
And this is a lady who's seeing endocrinologists, rheumatologists, like on a regular occasion, suppressing her immune with all these drugs, put you in risk for getting infections. Like we all know it happens, but
yeah.
But that's
what an incredible story. Yeah, it's amazing, And when you say carnivore, give me. Do you have a specific diet? Do you have a day by day? This is what you're eating, or what do you? How do you give them
meat?
Any
food?
Does it matter what kind of meat? Processed meat, lunch meat?
Well, if you're going to get altruistic, I'm going to tell you grass-fed, grass-finished beef, venison, bison, whatever you want to eat. Try to be a solid organ meat if you can. I can't. Now, I like the carnivore. I'm not in love with it. I find it boring over time. Yeah, I eat 5 eggs in the morning. That's my breakfast. But to sit there and eat ground meat every single day.
Can I put cheese on it at least? Can I put some cheese on it? Throw some onions in there?
You're not a true carnivore if you start doing that. Now you're getting more of that keto-ish realm. So that's why I said the carnivore, keto, paleo people realm are the ones who have low inflammation. Yeah. Chronic inflammation leads to chronic disease. We know this.
Yikes. What are you laughing at, Geddes? What are you smiling at?
I mean, he's telling you about making eggs, and you're like, can I throw cheese on it? Can I throw onions on it? Like, what? No, you just cook the eggs.
I'm a foodie. I like it. Matters what it tastes like. I get excited when Ashley makes me a great omelet with onions and.
You know what I use now? And Chris, I don't know if you've ever heard of this app before. It's called Yuka. Have you heard of it before?
What is it called?
Yuka.
It's called Yuka.
Y-U-C-A. Yuka.
I love this thing. I use it at the store now. And because it's very helpful. Like if you click on an item, for example, JP, it'll tell you I don't know if you could see it there. You probably can't, but it tells you if there's any additives in there and their risk scale on them and stuff like that. And it's very helpful. And it gives you a score too, poor, bad, excellent, good, whatever. And you can use it on health products too, just deodorant, for example. It tells you what deodorants are good, body wash, shampoo, all these things that have dangerous stuff in them.
You trust that?
That's how I use it.
They dive into, I think they're stealing information from ewg.org, which is a really good website for that stuff information. But I don't think they have an app or they may have an app, but it's not as intuitive as Yuka is.
Yeah.
The guy who is, I won't get too political on it, but the guy who owns EWG is a raging libtard, but that's beside the point. He's a little bit of an extremist in some sense. But I like the fact that they do a lot of research on this stuff and they find out what's good, what's bad, what's more harmful to the body. But yeah, great app.
All right, Doc, good stuff, man. Appreciate you. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com, folks. That's where you get all the appointments and just go on the website, get the appointment, get in there and turn your health around. Get it to 3.0. I like that. Health 3.0.
One last thing. Offensive line for the Bucs looks phenomenal, the capital F. That's why Baker looks so great. They're giving him all the time in the world to throw and see the field. And then the guys are getting open, right? They're doing their job. And I know I bashed Evans last year, but he looks really good this year.
Yeah, they're doing great. I love the leadership of this team. Yeah, fantastic. You going to the game on Sunday?
Probably not.
All right. On
TV.
Well, yeah, much better. I know. All right. Thanks, partner. Appreciate you.
See you guys.
BAMMC.com. All right. That's I'm going to go download the Yuka app too.
It's great. You just scan the barcode is how it works. You just scan the barcodes of everything and it tells you all the information. And then if it's a bad item, it gives you a list of recommendations for alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
So very good. Yuka, write that down. I feel like before we go real quick, I know we've already gone over, but it feels weird not to even mention it at least, that the Tampa Bay Lightning are back today.
Yes.
In training camp, and they have a new captain, which to no surprise is Victor Hedman. And saw everybody got bombarded with the questions yesterday of, how do you move on without Steven Stamkos and everything? And it's the lingering thing, but I think you probably agree. I think we're going to be okay. I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah. I worry about the team chemistry
from
and
an
leadership.
on-ice standpoint.
But from an on-ice standpoint, this looks better. It looks better. And it's up to the players to go prove it now, and the coaching staff to make it work. And that's what it's all about. And that's fun. Yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit more tomorrow. I was actually trying to get out there to do the show from Media Day, but we couldn't pull that all together, unfortunately. But we'll definitely get a bunch of the players on and get all that sound in from yesterday, because I think it is very interesting. And it's lightning season. And, of course, we said we were going to talk about the Rays. Pepiot was great last night, had an immaculate inning. He was fantastic. 12 Ks, I think, career high. Yeah. And they lost to the Red Sox because they can't freaking hit. They just can't hit. God, it's been so maddening.
It's because they hit 213 this year with runners in scoring position.
Jesus.
Which is worse than the White Sox, by the way.
So now you have a $45 million payroll slated for next year. Go buy some freaking bats, for God's sakes. There's no excuse. Absolutely no excuse. If they go into the next year with this lineup, you should never pay it for a ticket, watch anything, do anything, Rays, until they commit to actually wanting to win, because that's ridiculous. All right, partner, great job. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube page, The JP Peterson Show, and FanStream Sports. We got a couple of different ones. Check that out. My new Twitter, at The JP Peterson Show. Please like that and follow me there. And always, this is a podcast as well, folks. We record it every day. Go to Apple and Spotify. If you missed the live show, you can always check out the podcast, and feel free to fast forward or rewind, do everything you want there on our podcast. It's available for you each and every day. 2 hours of Tampa Bay centric sports. Thank you, Nick. We'll see you tomorrow for Football Friday. Have a great day, everybody.